Okay, today we're going to make a cocktail for Independence Day. So as I do with most of these, I've consulted my good friend Eric Felton, who's a James Beard Award-winning author of Cocktails, Culture, and the Art of Drinking Well. And we alighted on it had to be rum, and we thought cherries would be a great theme for George Washington, one of the founders of our nations. Now, why rum? Well, America was awash in rum in the 1700s, and in fact, New England was making 5 million gallons of it in over 150 rum distilleries throughout, just around Boston itself. But the problem was most of that molasses was coming from French islands, which did not sit well with the British sugar plantation owners down in the West Indies, and they petitioned Parliament to pass first the Molasses Act, which was widely ignored and smuggled around, and then after the 7 Years' War, also known as the French and Indian War, they passed the Sugar Act in 1764, and it was a reaction to that being strictly enforced that Americans like Sam Adams and James Otis first got together. They were distillery owners with tavern owners and got together and started to articulate these principles of taxation without representation. Now, even though they were eventually successful in repealing most of the Sugar Act, the Crown still needed money to pay for that expensive war, and they started taxing other things, including tea, and those men started calling themselves the Sons of Liberty, and well, they had a little tea party, and the rest, as they say, is American history. So we are going to make this cherry bounce cocktail. Now, it has its origins with not George and the, I'm not going to tell a lie, and I did chop down that cherry tree. It actually has to do with Martha Washington, who would make cherry bounce for George to carry on his horse. It would sit on the back of his saddle, it would bounce along, and there you had cherry bounce. So we're going to do a riff on that. And essentially we're going to start with 2 ounces of good rum. It's from Martinique as a nod to our French molasses trading days. We're going to put that in there with a ice-filled shaker. Then we're going to add 1 ounce of shrub. Now you can either make a shrub yourself, or you can buy it, or you could use a cherry liqueur, this a Luxardo or some of the others. And then we're going to add 3/4 ounce of lime juice, freshly squeezed. And of course, it's that delicious combination of lime and rum that makes so many drinks good. And then we're going to add a dash of Angostura bitters. So Eric and I came up with this cocktail, meaning Eric came up with it and I'm making it before you. But in any case, it is quite delicious. So we're going to put that in the shaker here. We're going to shake that up, nice and cold. Now this deserves to be shaken, so if you don't have a shaker, use something to shake it up with, a water bottle, whatever. And then we're going to pour it in a little stemmed glass. Beautiful red, light red cherry stemware here. And cheers. So to America living up to those beautiful words that our founding fathers wrote, that we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal. May the march to progress to living up to those ideals be accelerated. Cheers, and hope you have a happy July 4th.